Olá a todos, bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Prova de Contacto. Eu sou o João Paulo e hoje já temos o Ruben connosco.
Olá, malta. Estavam com saudades, não era?
Sim, acho que sim. Eu, pelo
João,
menos, estava.
João Paulo queria-me substituir com AI, mas isto
Não, isso é mentira, que eu disse que não te ia substituir com aí. Tu é que não ouviste o meu episódio.
Mal
agradecido.
Está bem.
Bom, já que estamos a falar em agradecimentos, aproveito já desde já para agradecer aos nossos patronos, ao Fabrício Santos, ao Nuno Cruz, ao Rui Pedro Oliveira, ao Pedro Pinto, ao Marco Miguel, ao Filipe Parra. Muito obrigado
Muito
por
obrigado.
estarem por aí. E hoje vamos ter um episódio internacional.
É verdade.
Portanto, já fica aqui o aviso à malta que
afiem aí o inglês.
Exatamente, preparem o vosso inglês. Em último caso, como vocês sabem, pelo menos no YouTube, poderão pôr as legendas automáticas, que já deve ajudar.
Eu creio que Spotify já está com os transcritos
já está
ativados.
a funcionar bem?
Eu acho que sim.
Okay.
Digam, já agora, quem usar isso, deem-nos feedback, por favor.
Sim, era importante, era bom que nos pudessem dar isso. Por isso, como sempre, e como temos com o Ruben hoje, o Ruben vai então fazer uma pequena apresentação do nosso convidado.
A bio de hoje é um bocadinho mais extensa, mas este nosso convidado já tem muitos anos de carreira e vai ser um tremendo prazer tê-lo aqui neste podcast.
Sem dúvida.
Então, nasceu numa pequena aldeia em Dorset, no interior da Inglaterra, mas foi nas ruas de Nova Iorque que encontrou a sua casa e a sua voz. Phil Penman é filho de um fotógrafo, cresceu com um laboratório analógico dentro de casa e desde cedo a fotografia não foi uma escolha, foi uma herança, uma linguagem e uma forma de estar no mundo. Depois de se formar no Berkshire College of Art and Design, começou a trabalhar como fotógrafo no jornal local, mas o seu destino estava do outro lado do Atlântico. Em 2001 mudou-se para Nova Iorque e nunca mais saiu. Nos últimos 25 anos documentou a cidade como ninguém, as suas ruas ao amanhecer, os seus dias de neve, os seus momentos de silêncio e o caos. Estava lá no 11 de setembro de 2001, a câmara na mão, quando o mundo mudou. Esse trabalho faz hoje parte do arquivo permanente do Memorial Museum do 11 de setembro e a Biblioteca do Congresso dos Estados Unidos, ao lado de nomes como Dorothea Lange e Walker Evans. O seu trabalho já passou pelas páginas do Guardian, National Geographic, Time, New York Review of Books. As suas exposições chegam a Nova York, Londres, Berlim, Veneza e Sydney. Os livros Street, New York Street Diaries, e o mais recente Street Scenes, tornaram-se best-sellers e estiveram em destaque no Museu de Arte Moderna em Nova Iorque. Foi nomeado um dos 52 fotógrafos de rua mais influentes do mundo, numa lista que inclui Cartier-Bresson, Diana Arbus, Gary Grant, a embaixador Leica, e percorre o mundo a ensinar fotografia através da Leica Academy. O Phil vai estar em Portugal no próximo dia 17 de Abril para inaugurar a sua exposição às 18h30 na Leica Store. Street Scenes vai estar. Convido-vos a todos a estarem presentes, a conhecerem o trabalho dele e conhecê-lo ele pessoalmente. Phil Penman, welcome to Prova de Contacto.
Welcome.
Cool.
That's
Thank you very much.
Quite a large bio.
That's quite the introduction.
Yes. I did my research and we found out we're gonna be needing another episode because you've been doing this for how long? 25 years?
You need another episode just for the bio.
Probably.
I've been doing this since I was 15. I've been working in the industry since I was 18. So 30 years working.
So our first question is for every guest we have here is how did photography enter your life? We know there's a connection with your father, but was it really your father that pushed you to photography, or was it something that you grew up and admired?
As a career, or just in the beginning?
Maybe in the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, it was just purely I was doing my GCSEs, which is like your basic level education. And when you're a kid, just like the last thing you want to do is go and do the same job that your parents did.
Yeah.
And I needed a backup because I wanted to be a sports teacher at the time. And my dad was like, have a look in this newspaper. If you can pick what I consider to be the best composed lit picture in this newspaper, I will get you your first camera and get you started.
Wow.
So he bought me my first got me a Nikomat. That was my first ever camera.
Yeah.
And then you know what it's like. It's like everyone, when you start taking pictures and you develop your first film, and then the addiction just kicks in. And
I think it's chemicals.
Yeah, it's I remember years ago, when I was printing in the darkroom, I spilt the fixer all over the floor.
Yeah.
and I was desperately trying to dry it up on the carpet, and so my dad didn't notice. And he walks in and goes, "Oh, I love the smell of the dark room."
Smells like victory. Oh no!
So basically, what we're saying is, I got high, and then that's what converted me to photography. Yeah, I got addicted to the fumes. But no, yeah, I got very addicted to photography, and then when it came to my studies, I failed my A-level sports studies, but I got an A in photography, so it was pretty obvious where I was going to go from there.
So you ended up going through local newspaper journalism and some celebrity photography as well. How did each of these phases build the photographer that you are now?
I think like everything in life, every job you do, everything you do, it like builds up the character of who you are and how you see the world, and that comes out in your pictures, and that's kind of what makes the difference between each of us individually as photographers. So, I was very fortunate. I had a nice upbringing, lived in the country, very sporty, very competitive, studied for 5 years in England. And then, like you said, I went into the newspaper world because that was my dad's, that's his background.
Yeah.
And then moved to Los Angeles in 2000, and I was working for one of the big agencies there, basically doing all the big hard news jobs, investigative stories. And, I was in my early 20s, and I was getting to travel the world paid for by somebody else. So life's not so bad.
Dreams do come true.
Yeah, I just didn't. When you say that, it's like dream big, right?
Yeah.
I definitely dreamt big. Like, I knew that I wanted to be living in New York City, doing photography, and within a few years, I was living that exact dream, that challenge that I'd set myself, and that a lot of that time that doesn't happen.
Why do you think that is?
Work ethic. I think I have a very strong work ethic, because I definitely, I always say, like, academically challenged. Like, I would have loved to have been like someone who, just was very good at reading and stuff like this. But unfortunately, I was born dyslexic. I was in the special class. You had the main class, and then there was the free special kids. And I was one of those free special kids who's in your own private class because you couldn't keep up with the rest of the class. And it wasn't until I was probably like, say 13, I discovered tennis. And I was really good at tennis and very competitive. I used to win all the tournaments. And it was, once you all you need is a little bit of confidence. And then all of a sudden I was off. And, if you're a competitive sports person, you have to train hard. So that it's like that self-dedication. And I think that same thing comes into the photography. Like, you've got to work hard at this. No one's going to give you anything.
I think it's someone that has a connection with sports ends up in street photography or photography, ends up with a mindset that the normal people don't have, something like this. Because many photographers we've spoken to, especially in street photography, many come from skates, where you have to fall and get up again and try again and try again and keep insisting. There's a mindset very specific to athletes, right?
Oh yeah, because there's a direct correlation. Like, you're either the fastest or you're not.
Yeah.
Or it's like I did road cycling, racing for 10 years.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not always the strongest rider that wins. It's the one who's the smartest, who knows how to play the race. So there's a little bit of that as well. So yeah, you got to have a strong work ethic. You've got to be very driven, but also, I don't know. I think you've got to be driven, but you've got to work smart as well.
Build your look.
Yeah, for me, the turning point was once I started learning about, it's one thing if you're a photographer and you just shoot, you can take good pictures. There's lots of good photographers out there, but a lot of them might just not want to work. In general these days, a lot of people just don't want to work, and that's it's almost made it easier now for other people to make it, because the ones who are driven, you see a lot of these YouTubers, these kids. You look at like someone like take Mr. Beast. Okay, what's he? He's late 20s now, just obsessed with putting his YouTube production. Yeah, the guy is probably the biggest person in entertainment in the world now. But if you taken him 20, 30 years ago, there's no way he would have had a chance.
Get it.
It's just like, that's someone who's obviously very driven. They're smart. I'm not necessarily into his content. That's not my thing, but I admire and respect that the drive that he has. So I think like these days we don't have as many of the gatekeepers that we used to have.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. And I think many older photographers our age, your age, we've been opening things for the new generation for a couple of years, and we don't tend to keep secrets. We tend to share everything, despite what the older photographers were telling us a few years back. I remember when I was starting, everyone wanted to keep their contacts, their secrets, wherever they are, and they kept blocking access to newer photographers and just making things harder and harder and harder. It's one of the reasons we have this podcast, so we can share information, share content, and let everybody know there's always a way to get your work done and share it with the world.
It's interesting you say that, because I do a lot of workshops, and that's one of the things that comes up a lot, is the students very thankful that you're willing to give them, because they'll say, I've done workshops with the older photographers and they don't want to tell you anything.
Yeah.
They're quite happy to take the money, but they don't want to teach you anything.
Yes.
And it's kind of sad. Like, I get it. People want to protect their income, but got to help and support the generations, the students that are coming up, because it's not easy now.
Yeah.
There's a lot more photographers now and there's a lot more people doing it. Doesn't mean necessarily that the work is any better. I think probably the work was probably better back then. But it's, you got to help. I wish when I was in college, I was lucky. I had one tutor called Andy Fowler, who kind of took me, he kind of not necessarily took me under his wing, but he was very, very supportive of my work. And all you need is sometimes is that one person who gives you that confidence, and says, how hard is it, seriously, just to say someone is doing well or someone did a nice picture? It doesn't cost you anything to do it.
Right.
But yet people hold it like it's $1 million. Like, I don't want to tell you good job, because, or one thing I see a lot of the time is a lot of jealous people. They get very jealous that someone's doing well, or like it's not going to affect my career, like to tell you good job, So why not? It's, I guess that just makes a difference in people, right? There's good people out there and there are people that aren't.
Yeah, I keep telling people on our workshops that there's a difference between a good photographer and a good teacher. And sometimes a good photographer doesn't mean he's going to be a good teacher. And people have to talk to the photographers before getting into a workshop and spending the money. They got to make sure it's someone that's going to be open to give them everything they need, because people are eager for information nowadays.
Yeah, I have a couple of little tests that I do with people actually as well. and it'll be just very simple. It's very easy to send somebody a direct message. Right, I get direct messages all day, every day through Instagram with somebody asking a question. And I get a lot of students that reach out to me saying, hey, you know, I'm doing my final year project on you, and I'd love it if you would, you know, answer some questions. And simple test is, do me a favor. I'd love to help. Just send me an email to my address with your questions, and I will be more than happy to help. You'd be shocked at how many people cannot be bothered to send an email.
Wow.
So if you can't be bothered to spend 2 seconds to write an email, it means you were never serious in the first place. and then the ones that do spend the time, those are the ones I will respond to.
Yeah.
And it kind of it separates those that really want it and those that never really were anyway. They just you don't know that they might have just been putting a direct message out to 10 different people, and they were just trying to see if one of them would respond.
Yeah, they were fishing.
Yeah. So I know a few people that do that.
But is there some age that this is happening more? Is this something that happens to the 20-year-olds or that don't know how to communicate properly? Is this something that we are missing in this?
We definitely like to label generations, right? But I know plenty of young kids in their teens who work their asses off. And then I know plenty of people that just can't be bothered, you know, and it's like, that's all right. If that's your choice, right? But don't complain that you haven't made it.
Yeah.
Like I know plenty of photographers who've been doing photography for 5 years and they complain that they haven't made it yet. And it's like, I've been doing this 30 years and I still haven't gotten to where I want to be. You know? And so it's like, just be quiet, put in the work, you know, and if it's meant to be and you work hard and you're driven, it will happen for you. And I've seen it happen for a bunch of my friends and people that I've helped. So it definitely, if you make the right choices, like, you know, even just like photography, it's not just about photography, it's about marketing, it's about business. You know, how basics, how do you run a business, tax code, doing your accounting, all these things that you don't want to do. Like, you know, back in the day, they used to have agencies that would help you with this stuff. They don't exist anymore.
No.
Most of those businesses have all gone, and it's like, if you don't learn how to do it, you're going to have to pay someone to do it for you. And either way, the work has to be done, and it's just a choice of whether you want to learn how to do it or you want to pay someone else how to do it. But it's still going to be done.
It's going to be done, yeah.
Yeah, but most photographers nowadays, it's like a one-man show. You have to do all the stuff.
Yeah,
at least here in Portugal,
there's no agents.
Yeah.
No, I've worked for so many agencies, and I have so many agencies that represent my work. And I look at some of the sales reports, and photographers, they used to, you know, you used to shoot all your work and you said, well, that's my stock. And when I retire, that's where I'm going to make money. The sales reports now are like 18 cents, 10 cents a picture. You're not even going to pay for a coffee, let alone, you know, your rent in the future. The whole business just tanked the moment that the photo agencies decided to take on the same business model as the music industry, the film industry. Like, it hasn't worked for any one of those industries. So why would we adopt the same platform that they all failed on as well? And unfortunately, that's, you know, but there are ways you can make money now. It's not that it's just a different way of doing it now.
Because I think people still think that photography as an art form can only be sold, and you can make money from it only by going through galleries or books. And things have changed quite a lot. You yourself, you've had that experience, right? You've seen throughout the years how things have changed. Do you think street photography has been democratized regarding these areas on
I
galleries? And
think street photography is a very hard one to sell anyway. If you go to
yes,
most, you look, how many people are going to want to have a picture of of a homeless person on their wall?
I get it. Yeah.
It's a lot of it's the fine art market.
Mm.
If you look, I've seen galleries that were largely photography galleries have gone more into the art market, like paintings. Obviously, because that was what was selling for them. You can photo books. You don't really make any money on photo books. It's not. It's photo book is it's a marketing campaign. It's like it's a big portfolio that's around the world. That's your thing, but it's more fun to do doing
Yeah.
a book. Like, it's a lot more fun than social media.
True.
You can tell a story in a book, something that you can't really do necessarily on social media. And social media, you're driven by an algorithm, right? And as soon as they change that algorithm, what are you got to change your whole business?
Yeah.
So do you want to go down that route as well? But you can still make money selling prints. But I think, like, for myself, like, I've been approached by a lot of galleries to represent my work. But is the deal good for you? It's if you can market yourself, like, if you can figure out a way to build an audience yourself, which you can do through the likes of social media and your mailing lists and doing podcasts and all these things. If you can build an audience, you have a bigger audience than most of these galleries combined.
True. Yeah.
The gallery is about getting access to people with net worth. It's that little client list that they have of people that have a lot of money who want to spend it on prints. But if you can get to those same people yourself, why do you need the gallery? So I've seen it where there's a lot of photographers out there that they don't use galleries. They sell their work direct. And that way you get 100% of the money. But the ones that I do like, where you work with a gallery where there's a really good curator, they're going to the big art fairs, they're going to Paris Photo, they're getting the work, those are the ones that you want to be with, because they're investing in you as well. Like, they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're putting your work in front of people at Paris Photo or, APAD in New York. It's not just like a gallery that's on the 7th floor of a building that no one knows about.
Don't you think that those kind of festivals are most for some form of elite? Is it pushing younger photographers away?
No, I think, like, if you go to Paris Photo, it's packed every single day, and you have to remember that, like, there's maybe 5% of the people in that building can actually afford to buy those prints.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
but at the same time, all that work, all those masters, all that photography is being accessible, that you can go in there and you can see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, there's a bunch of prints that I would love to be able to buy, but I can't afford to buy. But I can go in there and I can enjoy them. And it's all in one place as well. It's not, I don't have to go to all these different photo shows. So I go there every year. I love it. Absolutely love it. I spend 5 days and I go in there every single day.
I really
If
want
you
to go
go,
this year.
yeah, it's so much fun. And everyone in photography is in the city that week as well. So you walk around, you see all your friends. It's like you all go hang out together. There's tons of other smaller photo shows and exhibits on the street that are happening as well. And it's just, I love that we have these photo festivals going on. Like I'm doing one in Dublin soon, where I've definitely seen it's getting bigger. Like there's a lot more street photography is definitely getting bigger as well. Like there's a bigger movement.
Yes.
You've called the street photography one of the last truly documentary forms of photography. What do you mean by that? Or do you feel that status is under threat?
You've got many things, right? So you've got
Mhm.
AI,
Yes.
which is the big disruptor that's coming in. A lot of news that you see in the newspapers, you don't know what's real anymore. You know, like I saw it in my time where photographers who were shooting news pictures were manipulating images. There's a famous image a few years ago, which was on the front cover of the New York Times. I think it was a Reuters photographer, where it was, if I remember correctly, it was an explosion over Tel Aviv. And the photographer went and cloned the explosion to make it look like that there were explosions all across the city.
Mhm.
And it was very controversial because that could really push for a war. So you've seen, we've seen this a lot in the last, I don't know, 50 years or so, where images were being manipulated. Now more so you have AI, where it's like it's not even real to begin with. Street photography for me is like, people always like, are you manipulating your images? And I say, well, why would I do that? Then it defeats the whole purpose of it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be capturing a moment in time that happened. Your moment didn't happen. That car was in the background in the picture. Those people were there. There are famous photographers who have just flat out removed people from pictures to clean up their compositions. I'm just so against that kind of stuff, because if you want to go do that, go become a fashion photographer. That's a large part of the industry is, don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against it in different forms of photography. It's just like, can we have one that's still true?
Yeah.
Just give us one form that doesn't have to be manipulated or AI has to be there. Something that is true, actually happened, and we can look back at 50 years and say, yeah, that actually happened.
Yeah. Do you have that concern, or when you're photographing? Do you have that concern of being a social documentary for New York? You have the idea that maybe in 50, 100 years, someone will look at your pictures and look the same way as you're looking at someone's work from the same year before.
Well, that's the big question, right? What kind of photographer are you? Are you a photographer that's interested in money, or are you interested in legacy?
Yeah.
I'm more interested in legacy. I was far more interested in like making a stamp on the world, where that, right, you actually contributed something, and the work that you did has been seen by millions of billions of people throughout history, and that you actually made a difference, rather than like, yeah, I made a few $1,000 off of this shot.
Yeah. Because when people start to think like that, it becomes more mechanical, right? I don't think
It's a
it's
business.
true. Yeah, it's a business.
You
You're
got to
going
pay.
out.
Don't get me wrong. You got to pay for your rent.
Yes, get a job.
It's a job, right?
Yeah.
And it's a tough job working photographer, but this is not that.
Yeah.
When
It comes from
like,
passion.
yeah,
Has to be passion. It can't be technical. It can't be mechanical. It can't be a thing. I'm going out. I'm gonna do this image, and it's gonna sell this much. And it can't be like that.
no, you know what? It's great satisfaction. Like when you wake up in the morning and you get an email and it says someone just bought your print, and it was a picture that you took. Not because when you took that picture, it's not because you took it because you wanted money. It was because you loved what you were seeing. and that
Yes.
someone else appreciated the same thing and they were willing to invest in you and buy that print from you. It's the best feeling in the world that you made money off your art.
Yes. I hope some of our younger audience is listening to this. Please.
Yeah, you'd be shocked who, like recently I had, it was a law firm acquired 7 of my prints for their walls. And every single one of the pictures, there was never any intention of money had to be made off this. It was just purely, they liked the work and they wanted them for the thing. You know, so it's not that you can't make money from it. And then at the same time, a lot of stuff, I've been to a lot of bad photography exhibits in major institutions.
Yes.
And it had nothing to do with the work. It was the time when those pictures were taken. So it might be a set of pictures that were taken 50 years ago. There's nothing technically brilliant about any of the pictures. It was just purely based on, this is what these streets used to look like 50 years ago. But someone had the foresight to take those pictures, maybe knowing that in the future, people would want to look back at these. It's like, you know, the construction of Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
You know, when those pictures were taken, like someone actually knew that, right, we need to document this because this is a big deal. And then we look at those pictures now and like, well, wow, that's what it used to look like without the Brooklyn Bridge. You know, so my holy grail, as it were, was getting my work into the Library of Congress, because then, you know, your work is part of history. It's part of the US permanent archives. That was probably my biggest goal. And there was no money in it at all. You know, you purely just, your work is being donated towards the historical archives. So it's not all about money.
I hope there's more people thinking like that.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What do you say that is the thing that has changed the most in your approach in street photography?
Something has changed throughout the years, right?
Yeah, of course. As your life changes, you start seeing things differently, right?
Yes.
Right.
The way you interact with people, what you find interesting. You know, there's even the style and where I shoot. I know when I was first getting into it, it's like everyone these days, like everyone's shooting silhouettes and shadow pictures and playing with light, and it's a good place to learn. You know, don't get me wrong. It's a lot. I love shooting them. It's a lot of fun, but your whole body of work cannot be a whole series of silhouettes. You know, so it's sad because I really enjoy doing street portraits and like chatting to people on the street, but those are the ones that notoriously don't do well on, say, social media, but they're the most fun to do because you're interacting with people and you're meeting people. So I find myself now wanting to do more of that, like social documentary. I still like to take the odd steam picture here and there, because I do like, you know, going back to where I kind of first started, and it's a lot of fun to shoot, but it's not, you know, it's got, your body of work has to be more than that.
How do you link, especially because we have some issues here with the legal part, and I know street photography in New York is totally different, but it involves photographing strangers without their consent. How do you think about the ethics of that, especially in a world that's becoming so sensitive to privacy?
We have no privacy.
Agree.
That's it was an interesting story I heard recently. Every country has its own laws, right? And everyone likes to play the privacy thing. And there was a guy, and he was taking a picture, and the security guard came up to him and said, "You were taking a picture of our building." And he was like, "No, I wasn't." And then they said, "Yes, you were. We saw you on our video camera." And he said, hang on a second. I didn't give you consent to film me on your video camera. Right?
Right.
You're being filmed everywhere by everybody and everything. You're being cell phones all around you, right? But CCTV cameras, traffic cameras, everything is filming you. Did you give your consent for that?
No.
Right? It's one thing if it's government, but did you give your permission to all these private companies to film you?
Yeah. What are they doing with that?
Right. Like I used to know a company where, the advertising, the advertising boards that you walk past, a lot of those have cameras built into them.
Wow.
And they're filming you. So they're filming you because then they can sell those statistics to potential advertisers. Right? How many people walked past this board? How many people stopped in front of this advert? Were they female, male? How long did they look at it for?
Wow.
Data. They're collecting data.
Data. I didn't give you consent to do that. It's a bus stop. And you're an advertising company. I never told you could film me. So it's one thing to go and say, oh, it's more, I equate it, it's more about that individual doesn't want you taking their picture. It's not about privacy because they sold their privacy. It's more about that person. And there's nothing wrong with that. If they don't want to be photographed, that's fine. And like I said, I have no problem with that. And a lot of the time, you don't know why they don't want their picture taken. You assume that it's just that they don't want. I had an occasion in New York. I always tell people this. I was teaching someone how to do reflection pictures, and it was a picture of a puddle. There was a puddle on the ground, and two guys come up to me and they go, "What do you think you're doing?" So I turn around to them, so like, "Why? What did you do wrong?" And then they go, "If you want to sue us, man, you can sue us."
Wow.
And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And they said, "You're not with the insurance company?" I went, "No, I'm not with the insurance." And they were like, "Oh, we thought you were from the insurance company and you wanted to sue us because of the hole in the ground."
Wow.
So you assume that they don't want their picture taken, but really they just thought you were like some insurance company. Or it could be that you've got someone who is, maybe you catch someone who is claiming disability when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There's a whole industry built of photographers whose sole jobs is to go and catch people who are cheating disability, right? So how do you know? Or how do you know you didn't just photograph some guy who's cheating on his wife and he's walking with the mistress?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want his picture
like
taken.
a private detective.
Yeah, so don't, like, it could be one of many, many things and you just don't know what's going on. We always do this challenge actually when we're doing photography classes. One of the challenges I tell everyone, you have to go up to someone and ask them to do their portrait. And we do this in Switzerland. And of course, all my friends in Switzerland, they're like, people in Switzerland don't like having their pictures taken. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. Let's do this challenge. And then we go out and everyone's like, wow, I couldn't believe how many people wanted their picture taken.
Yeah.
Everyone would say yes to having their portrait taken. Some of the time, people would come up to the students and say, "Do you mind taking my picture as well?"
That's great.
So don't believe everything you hear.
I try one exercise very similar to that on my workshops where I try people to go and get me no's. Get me someone that says no. And that's very hard because most of the time people go and say, okay, that's fine. It's a challenge.
Yeah,
so
I think
get the no's. It's the same thing. It's very interesting. People don't know why, but get mentally blocked when taking photographs of strangers.
Yeah. Also, you've got some photographers out there. They're very aggressive in their manner. And you have some photographers who I don't care what people say. I can look at a picture and I can tell if someone doesn't like people.
Oh.
In the way in which they shoot them. And it's almost like they're making fun of people. It's not cool. There's nothing funny about it. It's not like your internal joke. You're demeaning people, and unfortunately, you have some photographers out there like that they're very confrontational, and it just gives everyone else a shitty name. It's like when I was doing paparazzi celebrity work. You know, there was guys out there that would just give everyone else a bad name. But it's the same in every job. I'm sure there are lawyers out there that give all the lawyers a bad name, and the same in banking, and the same in everything else, and it's the same in what we do as well.
There's good and bad in everywhere.
Yeah.
So let me get one thing. Talk to me about how is your day? Do you usually go photograph every day?
I used to. I don't get as much time these days because it's usually planning everything that's coming up. So I'm planning to like mid 27.
Okay.
And like 26 is already done. So you're planning out, right, what exhibitions are coming up, getting prints ordered, making sure all that's taken care of. I have tonight, I have to go down to a gallery and do a book talk. And it's just, there's a lot of admin and a lot of work that goes into that. And then as soon as I've done all my stuff, I'll head out with my camera. Like, I'll have the camera with me. The only time that it will be where it's like, right, everything else is going to have to wait is if there's some weather that comes into the city, like a big snowstorm or like a big foggy day where I know that I'm going to go out and get some pictures that I really want for myself. Okay. And that everything else is on hold while that snowstorm is going on.
Are you an all-weather photographer? Because some photographers tend to move away from when it rains or.
No, you got to be able to shoot in everything,
right?
Yeah, it's some people. Yeah, some people don't like to photograph in rain. I love to shoot in it because that's when you get the really interesting stuff.
What captures your eye? What are your triggers? What makes you raise the camera and shoot?
Interesting people, moments. Those are the things that really get me. I was photographing the Easter parade this weekend. It's like the Easter bonnet parade in New York where everyone gets dressed up, and it might be someone that everyone's ignoring. Like some kids, like there was a really nice picture that I liked where it was, I could see this little kid at a window, and her sister had like bunny rabbit ears on, and they're pressed up against the window, probably about 10 feet off the ground, looking down at everybody. And that was what caught my eye. It wasn't the people that were dressed outrageously and had the big hats on and everything. It was the little kid looking at them that was far more interesting to me. So it'll be like little moments like that catch my eye more. And then also, like I said, the really shitty weather, because it's that one time when not many people are out on the streets and you're just like, you're in your own little movie scene. It's beautiful. It's hard to explain unless you're out there.
But your images are often, they have a cinematic, almost film noir quality, moody light, fog, snow, even the empty streets that you just talk about. Is that something that you consciously pursue, or does it reflect something in your personality?
Good point. Definitely. Yeah, I am a little bit of a loner in that sense. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of friends, but I do like being out there on my own. You're in my own head, or put my music on, put my headphones in, and walk around the streets and enjoy that. So I am more into that than the picture.
Okay.
Like the picture's nice. Don't get me wrong. Like the picture's nice, but it's definitely it's like an adrenaline rush that you're chasing. There's a little bit of that. as well.
Did you have a photographer that you looked up to as an inspiration
Yeah,
while
no,
starting?
I have a few that I really like. Salgado being one that was probably one that really influenced me over my career. Elliot Erwitt, just for his humor. Like that's one of I always say that's one of the hardest things to do is humor in photography, because that's when your personality comes out, right? If you're a mean person, that's going to come out in those pictures.
Yeah.
And his just, it's just, they're beautiful. It's just like that he's not making fun of anyone. It's just a funny thing that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arnold Newman, like he is a master of composition. Unbelievable. His portraiture work. Then there's quite a lot of others. I really like the work of Robert Polidori. That's someone I like. And then artists as well, like, Mondrian was one that really grabbed me, like for composition. There's so many great ones, but those are the people that really stood out. And like Jackson Pollock as well. That's another one. Ooh, a lot of cinema, really into cinema, like largely because my wife's Karen, she's in film and television, so we watch a lot of cinema and a lot of series. And the guys in Gomorrah, like I don't know if you've seen that, like Salvatore and Marco D'Amore, all the team that put that together, just epic. Absolutely epic. So stuff like that influences me more.
So let's quickly talk about your workshop here in Porto. So you're bringing a workshop along with the exhibition. That's a 2-day workshop. What can people get from your workshop that they are not getting from watching YouTube?
Nothing. It's all on YouTube. I just want the money.
It's all been done.
It's all been done before. No, you get to, it's basic. I try my best to condense what I've learned in 30 years and teach you in 2 days. So I try to fast forward people so that they don't make the same mistakes that I used to make. And it's amazing if all you have to do is show people a few basic little things, and it's like you've just removed 3 years off their career.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much, but all it needs is someone to actually show them. But also it's breaking down things into a understandable manner. Like photographers have a habit of trying to make themselves look self-important and make it as complicated as possible.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's being able to break it down so that anyone can understand it without going into like hyperfocal distance and all the rest of it. Just stuff that works for them. And then also you're not trying to make people change the way that they shoot as well. It's how do you make them a better photographer at what they shoot? Because at the end of the day, that's their identity, and that's what's going to make them stand out as a photographer versus the next one.
It's about them finding themselves, right, on the street.
Yes.
Yeah, they have to discover.
Yeah, very much so. Not pushing your agenda onto people as well, and then giving them like insight into how I see the world. Like when I go out and about and I'm walking around, what do I look for? And those people that are like interested, like I always say at the beginning of the class, who wants to do this as a career and who wants to do this for fun? Because it's two completely different models that you have to do. And I try to, because most of the class is individual, me working with them personally rather than as a massive group. Those ones that want to do this as a career, those are the ones as well that I can teach them, right, this is what you need to do and this is what you don't do. you know, the marketing side, the legal side, doing
Sure.
your first book. You know, so you can get as much out of it as you want to get. The ones that fail are the ones that walk in thinking they know it all.
Wow.
I don't know it all, so why would anyone else?
Yeah. What it's the most common mistake you see photographers making when they're starting out in street photography?
Looking at the back of the camera too much.
Chipping.
The whole time we just had it. The whole time you're looking at the back of your camera, I'm just stood there watching all these crazy pictures happen above them, and I'm like,
True.
that's another one you missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done. Like, you can look at the you can look at the pictures when you get back to the edit.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, and, you know, spend your time then. Like, it's not like you can recreate that moment, right?
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the time I will spend time in one area and I will just keep shooting and practicing different angles, different compositions, different people coming into the frame, and then I evaluate them later. You know, most of the time that you're out on the street is more about practicing than going out and getting incredible images, because the odds on getting great images are, or iconic images, are billions and billions to one. It's just not going to happen.
And
So you have to get more into the mindset of like, right, what am I learning today?
What took you too long to understand about street photography?
Sorry, what took
you too long to understand about street photography? Is that it takes time? Is it? But the time, everything has to be right now. And street photography takes time, takes practice.
Oh, it takes years and years and years. I think one was time of day. When I go out and shoot, like you can make pictures at any time of day, but like I find the mornings really enjoyable to shoot. People have got more purpose. They're going somewhere. I prefer that. And that takes time, shooting, knowing the camera inside out as well, so that the camera becomes irrelevant.
Yes.
You know, a lot of photographers, like I do everything manually. I don't use auto anything.
Yeah.
I just find it gets in the way a lot of the time, and people, they don't know how they got the picture because the camera did it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
So you're always trying to figure out, how did I get it? You know, it's one thing if you started manually, right? That's how I learned manual film, light meter. If you learn how to do things manually first, and then maybe you're shooting an event where you don't want to be thinking about it and you want to be doing auto, at least you know how you got the picture.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Totally agree.
So yeah, so that helped me a lot as well, is like not having to think about the camera anymore and just purely focused on people and the pictures that I'm taking. Also, an important one for people to know is knowing when not to take a picture,
Oh.
because that can screw you sometimes. If you get too eager and too aggressive to take a picture, you might blow a better picture.
I get it.
So you got to know when, like, sometimes you have to let a scene play out, waiting for something to happen before you, because as soon as you raise the camera, the same as when I was doing paparazzi work, as soon as you raise the camera or they see you with the camera, the subject controls the picture, not the photographer. They choose what they're going to do. Are they going to smile at you? You know, are they going to get aggressive? So it's knowing when to put the camera up to the eye and when not to.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Indeed. Yeah. Tell us just a little more about the exhibition you're having at the Leica Gallery, about your work, what people can see there. Just do a little tease, nothing more.
It's the best part of it, because that's when people get to see the work as it was intended, print. And that's when I get to meet people as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part of what we do. So you'll get to see a sample of my images from my last two books that I put together, Street Scenes and New York Street Diaries. So take you on a little tour of the world.
That's always good.
Are you going to be here for the assembly of the exhibition?
I will be. I think it's probably going up soon. Yeah. I will be there for just before the opening night. I will be there.
Okay.
And I'll be doing some other stuff while I'm in town. Obviously, I'm going to be teaching the workshop as well. So I'm really looking forward to it, actually.
It's your first time at Porto, right?
First time at Porto. Yeah. I was in Lisbon for the Lisbon Photo Festival.
Yeah, I missed you. I was there as well.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Enrico and all the team, they did an incredible job putting that together.
Yeah.
It really was well done, and a lot of people. And then what was amazing with the talks,
I missed most of the talks because I was teaching a workshop for the 2 days, and I missed most of them. I caught Alex Webb's talk and Rebecca's. Yeah,
it was great. Like, because I do a lot of talks and do a lot of things around the world, and it was what was cool to see was just how many people showed up for those talks.
Yeah. Lisbon,
like it was packed.
People are in Lisbon are very, very eager for these kind of workshops and photo walks, and I think the festival does a great job with this. I hope they continue for many, many years. It's been great what they're doing.
Yeah, it really is.
So after more than 25 years shooting on the streets in New York, what makes you pick up the camera and walk out in the morning? Because some days probably you're not in the mood, right?
I think that's like any of us, right? It's like you've got too much stuff going on in your mind, and you just don't want to. You're not even seeing pictures anymore because whatever's consuming you is just. There's days I go out in New York City and I see nothing, and it's not because it's not there. It's just because my brain's not functioning right now.
How do you deal with that? Do you tend to try different things?
You might go back to something that enjoy, but when I was a news photographer, we'd always have this. Like, you wouldn't shoot anything good for months, and then you'd hit like 5 great pictures in a week.
Okay.
And just like, all right, it's a passing. It's going to get better. And sometimes the more you stress out about it, the worse that it gets. So just know that it's gonna end. It's just temporary, and then you're going to start seeing things again. So I have my camera with me every day. If I see something I really want to shoot, or I see like a little detail or someone that I like, I have my camera with me.
So you always have your camera? There's some photographers that don't. That tend to separate some personal things with the work-related things.
The only time I won't have a camera is if I go for a drink. I remember years ago, this was a heart attack moment. Was I was asked to photograph. It was a magazine that I'd had an article with, and they asked me if I could come and shoot the kind of like the party. So I brought my Leica with me. I had my M9 and a 35. And of course, it was a celebration of the magazine. So I got really, really drunk. And I remember waking up the next morning, and it was a moment where you're like, something's really wrong. something really. I don't know what it was. Something really bad has happened.
Wow.
And then I go and I'm like, where the hell is my camera?
Wow.
And I left my Leica in a bar somewhere. So I called up all my friends and I was like, right, where did we go last night? Like, which bars did we go to? And I went round to all the bars asking, and on the final bar, someone comes from downstairs with my bag and says, is this it? And I'm like, oh my God.
It's just an old cheap camera. Never mind.
Oh my God, it was a heart attack. So now, like, if anyone ever says we're going out for a drink, my camera stays at home.
Yeah, it's better.
I'll lose my iPhone before I lose that.
So you're basically telling us that the movie Hangover was basically your life story, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Phil, this has been so good. I can't wait to meet you. I thank you so much for your time. We're gonna have to start closing the podcast for today, but I hope we can count on you for another episode. There's too many questions I want to ask, and this conversation has been so great.
I enjoyed it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, we'll meet at the exhibition. Yeah,
definitely. I look forward to it, man.
We'll
or
just
for
finish...
a francesinha.
Yeah, why not? I won't have my camera with me.
You have to ask Magda for a francesinha.
Yeah.
Magda, if you're listening to this, get this man a francesinha.
Or we do it.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll just finish in Portuguese to give some final info to our audience, ok, Phil?
Got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Malta, portanto, relembramos que a exposição do Phil estará patente na Leica Store do Porto a partir do próximo dia 17, com a inauguração às 6h30. Ele vai lá estar, por isso, se puderem e queiram, apareçam. Certamente ele também irá estar disponível.
Mais cedo.
Sim, ele está certamente disponível para dar alguns autógrafos, alguns livros que vocês queiram comprar ou já tenham. Caso tenham gostado desta nossa conversa, deixem o vosso like ou até mesmo a vossa avaliação na vossa plataforma assim preferida.
Digam-nos que querem a segunda parte.
Sim, malta, olha, exatamente.
Eu quero.
Nós até podemos dizer, acho que não há problema nenhum. Vocês não imaginam o número de perguntas que nós tínhamos aqui para fazer ao Phil.
Sim.
E como devem imaginar, muita coisa ficou por conversar. Por isso, mostrem que estão interessados em termos episódio novamente com o Phil. Façam likes, comentem. Queremos saber o vosso feedback. Se ainda não nos seguem nas redes sociais, procurem por Prova de Contacto podcast. Podem enviar as vossas sugestões, feedback, também por mensagens privadas no Instagram. Ou então até mesmo pelo nosso e-mail, que é Ruben.
No provadecontacto.podcast@gmail.com.
Ou então até no nosso Discord. Podem aceder a ele a partir do link que nós temos na bio da nossa conta de Instagram. Se tencionarem e visitar a exposição do Phil, que a gente recomenda vivamente, partilhem também nos comentários. Pode ser que também nos cruzemos por lá.
No nosso Discord, digam-nos como aparecer por lá.
Sim. Malta, muito obrigado por estarem desse lado. E até o próximo episódio.
Até o próximo episódio.